Hi everyone, it's Winona and thank you for coming to my channel. Before I begin, I'd like to thank the following people: Emily, Chris, Tamara, Junk Journal Inspirations, L, and I'm only going to say H-A-R because I don't want to say the whole name, Took at Took's Craft Table, Sandra, Sandy, Rita, Lynn's Writing Lab, Lorna at TaylorMade Journals, Lorraine, Kim, and Gail. And I'd like to thank the people on, I think it's Junk Journal Tutorials. I posted my video up there last week and I got it removed not once but twice because I didn't follow the rules. And that's something I never used to struggle with, but since chemotherapy I can't retain what I read. And I read a rule, and when I go to read the next rule, the first rule is gone out of my head. So I hope that that doesn't happen again, but I tell you, that group is the nicest group of people. They have made such wonderful comments and just feel so loved. I'm very happy to be part of that, and I hope that I do abide by their rules. So this is my second project in my 6x6 paper pad. Use it up. So this, I finished this last week. I didn't finish it on camera. So I just glued this down and for decoration, and this is for a specific journal that I'm making, and it's got pockets on the inside and pockets there. And then I also want to use up some 8x8 pads, so I grabbed this pad here. This is a Graphic 45, and I just quartered the paper like this. I just cut the page into 4, or actually that's a lie, 2 pages into 2, because you have to have it. Let's get these out of the way. You have to have your pages like that, right? Oh boy, I'm confusing myself today. No, I quartered the pages. I sliced the pages in half, and then I sliced them in half again, and then I glued a spine on them. I'll have to watch my video so I can remember what I did. And if you can see this, when I sewed it together, the paper just split in half. So on these, I've just glued some Osnaburg that I dyed last year. I've just glued some on the spine to help reinforce it. These weren't nearly as bad, but this one was just terrible. So all I did is I had this in 1/2-inch strips. And I'll just tear that off a bit. And I just ran some, oh man, that's hard. I ran some Fabri-Tac down the spine. Oh boy, that's just, I think my room gets cold, and that's why it gets so hard to come out. And then I just glued this on. So there's always a way to fix something you do wrong. That's what I love about junk journaling. It's so much more forgiving than like when I used to do cards, and you had to have everything measured. Well, I just shouldn't say you had to. I had to have everything measured because I just felt that that's the way they were meant to look. I'm just going to bend this and push it down. And what doesn't glue with the Fabri-Tac, I'll go with my art glitter glue after and just touch that up. So there you go. So now I've got 4 little booklets to put in a journal in the future. I'll decorate them according to the journal that they go in. This is the first one that I put the pockets in, and I cut this pocket, and then if I had cut the other one the same size, I was left with a chunk that I wouldn't use. So I just decided to make a deeper pocket for the back out of that scrap, rather than throw away some paper. I know I didn't mention this last week. When Corey did this, she used washi tape on her spine, and that would work as well. You could also, like I said, you could also just cut the page whole, cut the page in half, and then fold it over as well. There's many ways to get the same effect in the end. To avoid your sewing machine tearing your paper like that, number one, you should probably have a small needle in it, not a huge needle. Like when I quilt, I tend to sew with a 70-10, or 7-10, 70, or an 80, I think it is, or 8. I'm not sure how that numbering is now. I can't remember off the top of my head. But the smaller the needle, the smaller the hole. So if you're not using fancy threads, you don't need a big huge hole, a big huge needle making a big huge hole. Also, when your needle gets dull, it'll make a bigger hole. So if it's like, I think it's time for me to change my needle. And you will need to change your needle more than when you sew with fabric, because it blunts. It's just like your scissors, it blunts the needle faster than fabric would. Just a couple of tips there. So now I have this one that's going into my journal that I'm working on, and I have 4 more that I can put away and use in future journals. But then I used another paper pad, a K & Company one that I've had for years. It's this one here. I actually have 2 of them, and I do want to do some baby golden books this year, so I grabbed that. Okay, I thought, okay, well, that's good. Cut the paper in half, put it together. It was a different size. I forgot that K & Companies are actually 8.5 by 8.5. So I trimmed down the top because I don't want an 8.5 inch booklet to go into my journal, because my journal covers are usually 9 inches tall. So I didn't want it, because it's going to go in a pocket and it would probably stick out. So I cut the top down a bit. And on one of these, I cut the sides down. And I don't know why I only did one, because when I went to do the pockets on the inside, I measured from the big one. And then I put the glue on this one, and it was way too big. And just, I don't know, I just had an interesting day. And when I put my paper down on this paper, it didn't puncture the paper like it did on the Graphic 45. But I thought it needed a little extra, so I zigzagged down each side. And you can see in the front, I have the zigzag there. And then I used a couple of sheets of colored paper. And I only had this little square left, and I didn't feel like using it. I'm sure I'll have scraps in the process of using these paper pads. So I put the little square in this one, and it'll just be a little tuck. But I had nothing to put in this one. Oopsie. So that's why I'm saying, like, maybe I'll have scraps later on that I can make a pocket or a side pocket. And if I don't, well, that's what it'll be. So anyway, that was our project from last week. This week, I was watching YouTube, and I saw a lady make a pocket, a different pocket idea using a 6 by 6 inch sheet of paper. So she did it with 2-sided paper. So I think I'll just start at the front, and I'll use this piece here. And I have to trim off. This is a very simple pocket. It's only going to take us minutes to make. So I'm going to take off the top. And then I'm going to take my page, and I'm just going to fold it over till I have, I guess that's about 3/4 of an inch, or you can do a bit more, whatever looks visually pleasing to you. And you just take it, where's my bone folder, and you fold it over. Okay, I'm going to round the corner because I like having my corners rounded. And this is just a corner chomper from We Are Memory Keepers. I love it because this thing will chomp through almost anything. When I was doing mini albums, I used it to make corners on my chipboard. It is so strong. Anyway, so we'll ink this up. I've also really become a fan of this Gathered Twigs. Oh, that's the wrong one. Gathered Twigs Distress ink. I like it because I find sometimes vintage photo, to me, leaves a yellowy look. And I don't know about you, but we have cows. And sometimes I think it looks a little bit too much like what comes out the back end of the cow. So that bothers me, so I don't really care for it all that much. Okay. So then you're going to run some glue up here. Oop. Oh, I love art glitter glue, but man, I get frustrated with it's plugging up all the time. Like, it's an easy fix, but so anyway, so you fold this over. So now you've got a pocket. Let me grab a tag here. You've got a pocket that you can put in a journal. Let's grab a piece of paper. Okay. So I'll grab this piece of coffee dyed paper here. And I'll fold it over and pretend that this is a page in my new journal. So you can put this in the corner down here, and it can be, you can put it in as a tuck, and you can have a pocket here and a pocket here. You could put it in this way, and so these three sides, or so glue these three sides, and you'd have a pocket here and another pocket there, all from your 6x6 inch piece of paper. You could glue down the center on the inside. Actually, I'm going to talk about that a bit later. I'm going to do another one. So anyway, there's our project for the day. Nice, simple, easy, decorate it, you're done. You've used up a sheet of paper. But I also have 6x6 pads that are one-sided that I got at the dollar store. And I would like to use those as well. So I'm just going to pick two here. I kind of like polka dots. What do we have here? We'll do these two. Okay, you say, right, you got to use 2 sheets of paper. Yeah, you got to use 2 sheets of paper. But you also end up with 2 pockets. So I just take these 2 sheets of paper together and I cut them at 3.5. Oopsie, maybe. So that leaves me with 2 pieces that are 3.5 and 2 pieces that are 2.5. So if I swap these out, I have 2 different pockets that I can do. Just like that. So I'm going to round off these ends. And these I'm going to sew. So this end on this one. And you can see that I'm doing like one I'm going to do this way and the other one I'm going to do this way. And this one here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like they didn't cut the paper properly. So I'm going to just grab my trimmer and I'm going to trim that piece off. I actually could have just ran lace down the end. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. When I'm all done, when I go to decorate it, I'll run some lace or some trim down that side. So I'll ink this up. And I'll ink this up. I hope I'm in camera. So I hope you're keeping warm where you are. It's, I think, about -20 Celsius here today. It's nice and toasty in the house. I'm sure my husband's not too excited in the barn. we're fast and furious having calves right now. But it's actually, we can't complain. It's been a beautiful winter. It's only been this cold for a couple of days. Okay, one thing I want to show you here that you may not know is the Tim Holtz mat. I'm left-handed, and when I do my mixed media, I like my paint and everything on this side. And I didn't realize Tim had a left-handed mat, but so I turned mine upside down. And when I did, I realized that, I hope you can see this, that it has a centering ruler on this side. So if I put it on here, and I find the 3 and the 3, because this is 6 inches, right? I can find my center. Oopsie. So I'm just going to do a little mark there. And I didn't punch out a hole in the other one. And I probably still will. But let's see what size we want to do here. So, and then I can just kind of center that in my punch. And punch. This one, I want to do a bit differently. I want to have 2 pockets. So I'm going to line that up. And I'm going to mark the center for my stitching down the center. And then I'm going to find out what the center of this is. So I've got 1.5, should be 1.5, shouldn't it? So I can do a little mark there. And then I'll go on this side, 1.5, and line that up to the 1.5. And there's my center on that side. So then I can come in with my punch. Just do a little punch. Like, you don't have to mark, but... And these circles are going everywhere on me today. The Tim Holtz ruler has the same thing. One side is your measurements, and the other side is a centering. So if you have a piece that you're not sure, it's easy when it's 6 inches, but if you have a piece where you're not sure where the center would be, you kind of just find a spot like this one here. It's 1 3/4 on this side, and then it's 1 3/4 on that side that it lines up with. So then I know that right in here is the center. You also, if any of you have these tear rulers from We Are Memory Keepers, they also have a centering ruler on the side that we cut with usually. I don't know if you can see, there's a 0 there. So then it's the same thing. You kind of find where you get the same measurement on this side as on this side. So from 0 to here is 1 3/4. From 0 to here is 1 3/4. No, it's not. 0, 1 3/4. Oh yeah, it is 1 3/4. So then you know that this is center. So I don't know if you might have all known that, but I found it out by accident one day. So anyway, so I want to do this, but I want to sew these. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here, 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 and here. And this is going on this side. Okay, same thing on this side. I'm just going to put a little glue, and all that glue is going to do is hold this down long enough so that I can sew it. If I was going to walk away for a while and come back, I could definitely glue it down all the way. But because I want to do this right away, I don't want to get the chance of my glue gumming up my needle. So I'll quickly sew these. Let me put this one to the side. I'm really really off track today, but this is a card that I keep with my sewing machine under my needle when I'm not using it. And when I need to test out stitches, I write them on here. Like, this is my zigzag stitch at different settings, so that I can quickly look at it to see what setting I want for different things. The same thing if I want a different fancy stitch, which I haven't really used yet, but I'll do the same thing for that. And then when I'm not using my machine, I slide it in here, I put my presser foot down, and it's always there. Just kind of another little tip, I guess. Anyway, let's get back to work. So this is going this way. It could easily go this way as well, but my plan is to have it this way. So I'm going to start sewing up the side here. Actually, I want to do this one last. Talk about indecisive. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to start a few stitches in, and I'm going to go backwards. And then I'm going to go forwards. Okay, I've curved it, and I'm no good at sewing around these curves. So when I get to about the beginning of the curve, I don't know if you can see that in there, I'm going to lift up my presser foot. I'm going to put it on an angle, my card on an angle, and I'm going to sew on an angle. And then I'm going to turn it again and go straight down the other end. I find having that angle looks, at least to me, looks better to me than having my sloppy curve that I could never do no matter how hard I tried. See, I can hear my needle is just going plunk, 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 plunk. And that's a sign when it starts making that really plunky noise, it's dull. You need to change it. Don't skimp on needles. People tend to do it when they're sewing too, but it makes a huge difference in the quality of your work. Okay, and then I'll do one more stitch. And then I'll come down here. And then I'm just going to go back a couple, and then I'm going to forward a couple, and I took a couple of stitches on nothing. You have to be careful, some machines don't like that. And then I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go onto this page. Whoa, see, my machine said no, you can't do that right away. Darn it. So we'll take that out, and then, well, this is an easy fix. I just need to pull. Where do I want to cut my thread here? I guess I have to cut it. I'm going to have to rethread my needle. Yeah, it said don't do that again. Smarten up, Winona. But most days I can do that, and when I sew fabric, when I'm quilting, I always do that. It's kind of like a leader ender thing. So I'm just going to pick this out. And it came out easily. Okay, so then we'll try this again. We'll start in a bit. We'll go back. And then we'll go forward. This way. And then when I approach this corner, I'm going to stop my machine again. And then I'm going to turn this so it's on a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to take a few stitches. And then I'm going to turn it straight again. And I'll show you that when we're done here. And then I'm going to turn it again. And then I'm going to go here. Oopsie. I'm going to finish off. And I also, when I cut my threads, I also put just a little bead of glue, of art glitter glue, where I've sewn, just so that just another step to keep it from unraveling. Now when we started, I made a little notch or a little pen mark there. And that is to tell me to sew down the middle. And my stitches will cover that, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm going to take a couple of stitches back and then forward. And just hold it straight and let your machine do the work. Don't try to move it, just let it go straight. And then back. Okay. So now what I've done, we'll put this back in here and I'm done with the machine. So now what we've done is we've made two different pockets. And if you can see how nice that corner is sewn when you take the angle versus trying to get your machine to go around the corner. So now we've made another pocket that again can sit on your page, glue here, here, and you have a tuck. Or you could put it here, or you could put it like this. Glue here, here, here. And you have a pocket here and a pocket here. You can decorate this however you'd like. I forgot to ink in my little things, my little cuts there I see. Now this one, let's trim up these threads here. I've made one. But now I have two pockets. So I can put a little tag in here. And I can put another little tag in here. And we can leave it like that and use it as a tuck. We could put it like a tuck on this side too. We could do that the same with the other. We can put it here and we can glue here, here, and here and have a pocket. Or we could glue here, here, and here and have a tall tag in there. You could also make a hinge. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper here. So this was 6 inches. So I'll cut this 6 inches. And I'll cut this 1 inch. And I'm not going to make a hinge yet because I'm going to make it, but I'm not going to glue it on because I don't know what I want to do with these yet. These are kind of stash building. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold this in half. Yeah, maybe. We'll see how I do. It would be easier if you score it. But it's workable. It's doable. Okay, so it's not the best, but it'll do. And what I'm going to try to do is to just do a little corner punch here. Actually, I'm going to show you my newest toy. I've been doing some stuff from a digital, and it's very small. And I found this corner puncher on Amazon, and it has small, medium, and large. So I'm going to try this because I found that the 1/4 inch was too big. See how small that is? So working with all that, how did I do that one? Working, and I've put it in on the side. Working with all those small little tickets and things. I'm no good at cutting a corner, rounding a corner. Mine look terrible. So this way here, I've rounded it with that. So now you could take this, you could glue it on here. You could glue the other side onto your page, and then this will become a flip. And this probably isn't the best one to show. Let's show this one. So then this, and maybe I will. Let's glue it on. Let's go for it. Because there is no up and down on this at all, so I don't need to worry about messing that up. so this goes like that. So this will go this way. So we'll glue that onto the back of our pocket. And it's a little too long, so I'll have to trim it. Sometimes your 6x6 pads aren't really 6 inches. So we'll fix that after. But now I could take this and I can either wrap it around the page and glue down here and glue this on like that. And I will have, oh sorry, and I will have a flip. Or I can glue it on right here and then I'll have a flip here. You could decorate this. You could take another piece of paper and make a small pocket here. You could make a side pocket again. You can do so many things while you're using up your 6x6 paper pad. So here I've done 3 in no time flat. I do like the look of the stitching. I find it just gives it that extra oomph, you know, like a little bit more finished. Sometimes you don't, you know, kind of depends on what you're doing. If I was doing like golden books, I don't think I need that extra, but doing the vintage stuff, I really like that. So last night I practiced because last week I was just winging it, and I made a couple. So this one here is made with the one-sided paper, and you can see me trying to do the corners. Like that one's not bad, but this one's terrible. And I messed up here. I had to go back, but you know what? You can't tell on the front. So I just decorated it up a bit, and then I'll put it in whatever journal. I don't have any plans for most of this stuff I'm making. I'm just trying to build up an ephemera basket. So there you go. There's that one. And then I did one with 2 pockets. And this one here, I angled my corners. I put Wing Castella on here. And I'm trying to use up products I've had for a long time, and I've had Nuvo drops. So I don't know if the camera picks that up, but I've just kind of put some Nuvo drops in here. And I glossy accented the butterfly, and then I did a little butterfly trail with Nuvo drops. And my biggest challenge is leaving this stuff dry, because this takes a long time to dry and I always end up putting my finger in it. So I did it last night and I did not touch it until this morning. And then I put a little bit of lace on the edge and a little bit of fabric ruffle. And then, like again, I have a pocket here and I have a pocket here. So in almost no time, I have 2, 3, 4, 5 more pieces that I can put into my ephemera basket to use at a later date. Plus, I'm going through a couple of 6x6 inch paper pads. But remember, I have those 8-inch ones. You can do the same thing with your 8-inch. So let's pick out, you know what? I've had these papers for years, and I just want to use them up. So if this works, it's fine. If it doesn't work, I guess it doesn't work, and I'll use the paper for something else. So let's give it a try. So for a 6x6 inch pad, I did half a 6 is 3, and I added a half an inch to that. So I cut at 3.5 inches. And then that left me 2.5. So that left me an inch overhang. But I'm not sure an inch is enough for this. So let's look at what 4.5 gives us. Let's look this way at what 4.5 gives us. 4, so if we did 4, that's half. We have to do at least 4.5. Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to cut this one this way, 4.5. I'm still thinking, that's why I'm going so slow. So this, that didn't work out the way I planned, because that's the background and I lose her. So this will be this way and this will be that way, which is fine, which is fine. So this time I want her on the front. So this will be 4.5. Geez, I like that too. Oh, heck. I don't need to cut 2. I didn't need to cut it at all. What am I thinking? This is double-sided. You don't need to cut it. So I can take this and I can fold, get my stuff out of the way here. I'm going to have to fix that. That's going to bother me. I'm going to just have to cut a little more off the top. Okay. But we'll do it with both of these. So I can take this and I can fold this over to where it looks pleasing to me. You don't, there is no rule. You just do whatever. Just try to keep it straight. There we go. And I'll use my bone folder. Slowly bring it back. You know, this paper's old and it's a little bit brittle and I can see it's cracking. So I have to be a little more careful. Probably I should have scored this one before I folded it, but ink will cover it up. It won't see a lot of pressure on a page. So this one I'm also going to do this way. And I can live with that there because I can ink, or can I? Yeah, I can. I can ink that up. So then I would just, I'm going to make these one big pocket because I don't want to sew down the center. And you could just glue it too. Let's do that. So the center of this one we'll mark in pencil. And we'll mark it on the wrong side in pencil. So there. And I'm going to, because I can't do anything straight, I'm going to draw a pencil line down there. Okay. Then I need to know what the half of that should be. 2 and 2. Okay, so I'm going to put a mark 2 and 2. And I'm going to put a mark here. And then I'm going to go 2 and 2. And my zero's in the center. And I'm going to put a mark there because I want to put a little circle in there. Or do I? Okay, so let's... Oh, Winona. Okay, so we're going to do this. And then I'm going to turn it over and do here. I don't want to cut her off. Let's do that again, right there. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, that's okay. So now I'll do the same on this side. Oops. And I'm just going to run, I'm going to run a bead of glue down here. But I'm only going to put a dot, a dot, a dot, a dot, because I will sew this later. But the reason I'm putting the glue down the center is because I want to make 2 pockets. But I don't want to. If I made 2 pockets, I would be sewing or putting a decoration down the center, and I don't want to do that. And again, I can round my corners. But I can do that later. Now this is going to cover your entire page. But this might be a cool thing to put a hinge on this side. And then this can flip up. Wouldn't that be beautiful? And you see that on the other side. You could do it on this side too. But I just think with that decoration there, it just looks like it could be flipped up. But you could also do it on this side of page 2 and put it on the edge and flip it up. So I will ink the edges and round the corners and sew around it off camera and show you next week in the next video. And this is the one that we have folded. And I'm thinking this one, oh, I want to put it on this side. I'm thinking I might just leave it open, put a nice big tag in here, and put a nice big tag underneath it. But, you know, I could change my mind in the next 10 minutes and it might be totally different. You'll have to wait till next week and see. I thank you all. If you've made it to the end, I thank you. I thank you for watching me, and I'm hoping to do another video next week. We'll see what my week brings. I wish you luck and I wish you happiness in the next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.